sixth graders. It's so wonderful to be with you today and to continue our reading of Granted. A lot happening here, and thank goodness for Sam the dog. I think that's what we know for sure now. We're starting at the bottom of page 191, and Ophia is hearing, if you will, the wish, and she's trying to get back to the location of the coin. And she's headed toward doors of a pet store, and she's expecting the doors to open, you know, like when you go toward a store and the doors automatically open. Except they didn't open for her. She jumped up and down and waved her arms, even called the doors a few choice names, but nothing happened. Humans and their stupid contraptions. If they were designed to make life easier, how come they were all so fern-faddled complicated? She was about to give up and whistle for Sam's help when the doors dinged and slid open, revealing a lumbering white furry monster with giant teeth. Ophia barely dodged out of the way, pressing herself into the thin recess that the door vanished into as the Saint Bernard and his owner passed by. As soon as they'd gone, she felt the door on her back pushing closed again and spun sideways into the store. That's one way to do it, she thought. She turned and gave Sam a salute through the glass, then quickly took cover behind a box of Crunchables dog biscuits on a bottom shelf. Stealth and subterfuge. Ophia hoped she'd do a better job of it than she had at the diner. This time, she knew to stay calm and focused. She scanned what she could see of the store, marking every potential danger. The place was huge, almost the size of the glade, though there were no magic wish-picking trees growing out of the center of it. There were lots of cages, however, and those cages contained animals of all different kinds. Hamsters and rabbits and turtles and mice. Along one side, she could see half a dozen cats prowling and rubbing their flanks against their wire walls. The air gave off a musty funk that Ophia likened to riding on Sam's back. If she wanted to, she could probably hear what all these creatures were saying with their mewls and squeaks and hisses, but instead she tried to focus only on Kasara's voice. I wish. The coin was here. Ophia couldn't see the man in the striped shirt, but she could sense the coin's presence. She noticed one cashier at the front of the store ringing up a customer, her money-eating drawer opening and shutting with a clang. The whisper wasn't coming from in there. A couple more employees appeared to be wandering up and down the aisles, stocking shelves. She would do her best to avoid them. They all wore bright red shirts, so they were easy to spot. No doubt one of them could easily get his hands on a broom if he wanted. Ophia circled around the aisle, staying close to the shelves, ready to sneak back behind stacked cans of meaty morsels or giant bags of puppy grub, keeping her eyes peeled for her target and trying to ignore the strange noises and smells that surrounded her. At the sound of footsteps coming from behind, she leapt onto the lowest shelf and hid behind the first thing she found, realizing too late it was just a glass bowl and that anyone who cared could see right through it. But she was low enough that the woman passing by didn't notice. Ophia dropped in behind her and crept to the next aisle. No man, no nickel. She went to the next. Not there either. She found herself standing near an aquarium housing a black rat snake, thick as a tree branch. He looked at her with interest, flicking his tongue against the glass of his enclosure. Don't even think about it, mister, she said, and ducked behind a bin advertising chew toys near the center aisle. She could still hear the wish calling for her, but she couldn't tell what direction it was coming from. There was too much interference. Cats crying, hamster wheels squeaking, birds squawking, the ding of the door, the ching of the cash register, the clop of feet, and all the time the bright lights above made her squint. As big as the store was, Ophia still felt claustrophobic, imagining herself trapped inside one of these glass boxes, sleeping on a bed of cedar chips, being fed pellets out of a bag. She closed her eyes and tried to concentrate. Where are you? You stupid coin. When she opened them, there he was, 5 aisles over toward the front of the store. He had one of those huge green bags of dog food cradled in one arm and was picking out a box of biscuits to go with it. It was definitely him, the one who had spritzed her. Striped shirt and blue denim, and he still had Kasara's wish. She could see it glowing faintly through his pocket. Sophia reached down and unhooked her last can of spray and quickly devised a plan. Circle back around the shelves and approach from the side. Use the rack to climb up to the register since she could no longer fly. Spray him right as he was paying. With any luck, you put the nickel on the counter, making it an easy grab. Sophia would shoot him and the red-shirted cashier both, and then be out the door before anyone else in the place knew what was happening. It wasn't ideal, and Squint certainly wouldn't approve of her knocking 2 humans unconscious. But Squint wasn't here, was he? This was still her mission, and it was her call. And besides, the girl standing behind the cash register was yawning already. She could probably use a nap. Sophia took a deep breath and a step into the aisle, but paused when she heard barking coming from the back of the store. It was a pet store. She'd heard barking from the moment she came in, except she knew this bark. "I am Sam. I'm a hero," the bark said. "Do you need to be saved?" Chapter 31, page 196. "Fish tickles," Sophia cursed. What was he doing here? Why didn't he stay outside like she asked him to? Sophia had passed several empty crates and cages. Suddenly, all she could picture was Sam's pathetic face peering out from behind wire bars. She glanced back at the man in the striped shirt, now standing in the checkout lane behind one other person. So close. The wish was so close, it was practically shouting at her. "Come on, what are you waiting for? Grant me, for heaven's sake." She heard Sam bark again behind her. "I'm a very good rescuer. I am very subtle." Sophia groaned, probably too loud, and then turned her back on the man in the striped shirt. She skittered to the back of the store, rounding the corner to find Sam staring at a row of steel cages and the 3 dogs he found inside, each of them whining and pawing at their doors. "Sam," she hissed, "I told you to wait outside." Sam turned to her, tail thumping. "Oh, I did," he panted. "But then I got worried because you said you wouldn't be long, and you were long. And I thought you were in danger, so I came to look for you. And then I heard talking and came back here to see what was going on. And that's when I saw them." Sam turned back to the row of kennels. "They are trapped. We need to rescue them." This was exactly what Sophia was afraid of. She looked around. None of the red shirts had come back here yet, but she could hear footsteps. And the man with her nickel was already checking out, was probably digging it out of his pocket right this moment. She didn't have much time. "No, listen to me, Sam. They aren't trapped. They're fine. Look at them." She looked at them. They look pathetic. Well, 2 of them looked pathetic. The littlest one, whose sign said his name was Fritz, looked ecstatic, bouncing up and down like he was about to explode. They were all barking, though, and all saying basically the same thing. "Let us out. Let us out." Sophia shook her head. "No, Sam, please. We need to get my wish and get out of here before somebody spots us." She grabbed Sam's tail and gave it a tug, but he didn't budge. "We can't," he growled. "We have to help. They want us to set them free. That's their wish." "Dogs don't get to make wishes," Sophia was about to say when another voice echoed above her, a human voice calling out over her shoulder loud enough for the whole store to hear. "Whoever dog this is needs to come get him. Pets have to be on leashes at all times." It was a young woman, one of the red shirts. She was holding an aquarium with a giant tarantula in it. She looked down and spotted Ophelia. "And did somebody actually let one of the canaries out of its cage?" Clearly, the camo was still working, but it hardly mattered if this human thought she was an escaped bird. She and Sam were both only seconds away from being locked behind bars. She needed distraction. "Sam," Sophia whispered, knowing that even if the woman heard anything, it would probably just sound like chirping. "Spider on the loose." She looked up at the aquarium in the girl's hands. Sam gave her a funny look. "What?" "Spider on the loose," she repeated, gesturing toward the tarantula, who looked almost as eager to get out as the three dogs. She saw a sudden spark in Sam's eyes. "Oh," he said, "right." Sam jumped. Not high enough to pull a hawk out of the sky, but plenty high enough to get both paws on the aquarium in the red shirt's hands. It probably surprised her more than anything, this strange dog jumping at her, and the glass aquarium slipped and tumbled out of her grip, crashing shatteringly to the floor. Althea shielded herself behind Sam's legs and then watched as the aquarium's hairy brown inhabitant quickly recovered from the destruction of his home and scuttled across the tiles as fast as his 8 legs could carry him, right out into the center aisle where he was spotted by another human. There came a spine-rattling scream, and just as Althea expected, chaos. Okay, we're going to stop right there on page 199, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. Thank you so much, 6th graders. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later.